I always had a fear of spaces and like people. Crowded spaces would always freak me out, so I always have to remove myself a lot.
And I don't know what the roots of that are. It's like a feeling in your stomach, like a knot in your stomach where, you know, you can't sleep, you're really, really worried about something. Sometimes it's genuine, you know, real problems that anyone else would be anxious about. Other times it's probably trivial.
I used to just get very, very upset that I was a horrible person. Literally all the time. I would wake up a lot of mornings and just it was just like self-loathing. I would wake up with that feeling all the time. A lot of it was remembering small things that I did when I was like in primary school. It would be like the way I said something to someone, or friendships and things like that, and like, oh, I shouldn't have said that, to, oh, we're not nice to each other, we should be nicer to each other, and all these sorts of things. It was always sort of small things.
I find it very difficult to put into words what it is that you feel in those moments, and even reflecting on it. So that's, in the same sense, that's why I find it difficult to talk about. A lot of the things that you do feel are quite, there's a bit of an inability to express that to someone else, especially if you think that they've not ever felt that way.
I know that a lot of these things are irrational. I don't see the point in talking about it. I just want it to go away.
You completely shut down. I mean, my panic attacks aren't necessarily you're hyperventilating and you're crying. A lot of the time for me it's like I'm unable to move and my whole sort of body goes into, almost like it's just completely locked. I mean, panic attacks, it's a reaction thing and it's almost a defence. For me they do differ. It's basically just when you can't really understand what's happening around you anymore. When you're in a situation where you don't want anyone to realise. I've been in class and a lot of people don't notice that you're, I guess, having some kind of panic attack. So you want to get yourself out of it as fast as you can, really, but your body just can't do that for you.
But then in my 6th year at school, it was particularly bad as well. Having to leave classrooms and stuff just because quiet spaces, I was always so self-aware. And like making any noises, I was like, I need to get out.
Sometimes it isn't necessarily a physical. My panic attacks can be very private.
I'm not as anxious as I used to be. I don't have as many physical reactions to it anymore. And I think that was because of the CBT I just had there. I went because I was throwing up all the time when I was nervous. Throwing up all the time was like a physical, visual thing that you looked at and could say, oh, well that's anxiety, you know what I mean? And it's like when I did that, it sort of felt like I was getting rid of something. And then that became a habit. I sometimes wonder what initially triggered those thoughts, but I don't know why it happened the first time.
There's a certain photograph, it was a school photograph. I was at school in London before we moved to Scotland, and there's a school photograph that I'm particularly fond of. It's down in my mum's, and I look at it and there's this beautiful wee innocent face, and you see these images of yourself before life happens virtually, and you think, is there a core self in that wee face there? And if there is, what is it? And what the hell happened to it?
There's this video of me on one of my friend's dad's old film cameras, and we're in the living room and we're dancing and I'm doing all these mad dances and it's all really funny and weird and we're all giggling, and then you can't actually see what happens because of the angle, but something happens like behind the camera and I just completely switch and I go dead serious and I just like stop dancing and I just like start staring and I go over and I stand beside my mum. And I guess I'm probably still a wee bit like that. Maybe I've learned not to let it show as much now, obviously, when I'm older, but when you're 4 or 5, you haven't learned to hide how you're feeling yet.
you said something kind of revealing. I think that age, 12 or 13, is critical. I think it's a really vital stage of. I used to think it was being a toddler. I used to think it was teenagers. But that age, 12, 13, I think is formative in the development of your life.
All along, I always feel I've missed something in my whole life, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is, but I've definitely missed something. You know, when you wake up too early in the morning and your brain kicks in and you start to worry about things, or even just before you go to sleep. I've had that as well, and I'm knackered and I go to sleep and then and I've got to get up and, you know, so what's the point of lying here trying to carry on? I'm going to sleep.
I feel like anxiety does run through our family. The whole time of like thinking I was a horrible person, all this sort of stuff. I remember when my sister told me that, she used to feel the same thing all the time. She felt a similar thing. I felt so much relief. I was just like, oh, okay. Like maybe this is just something that is runs through the family. And keep plodding on and doing what I need to do on a sort of day-to-day basis. I have never ever really felt that I've fitted in.
I've never felt entirely comfortable in my own skin. You know, there's very interesting areas around the philosophical issue of what personal identity is. You know, one of the reasons I love David Hume, he says there's no such thing as a self, it's just a bundle of perceptions. Now I don't know if that's true, but I've never really felt I've got a settled self. I get fed up with it, you know, and I'd much prefer a kind of low-level equilibrium than the highs and lows and the ups and downs.
I wake up every morning and like, fuck. But it's still never contemplated, you know, oh, look, this is just rubbish. Because it's not that rubbish. I've got people I love, and I think that's part of it, and just a will to see the sky and, you know.
And you're searching, and your highs and your lows and depression and all of these things, if you can transform these experiences to make concrete your experience, you know, you don't get the answers, but exploring the questions is and if you can do it in a creative way, whether you're writing or whether you're doing video work and the work that you do, or artists, you know, you want to have feel these experiences as long as it doesn't tip into something more serious. And that's the worry. Not to feel great love, you know, and there's always the other side of that. There's hurt and there's hate and there's all of these things, and you have to experience it, you have to run the gamut almost, you know, with these different experiences. Well, it's just commonplace. If you don't feel deep sadness and grief, then you don't experience joy either. You know, it's you don't understand what joy is, and
yeah. But I think I'll just keep going the way that I'm going just now, and hope that it works out, because things always work out in the end.
Oh.
It always works out in the end.